Do any of y'all remember TanaCon? You know, that event from like 3 years ago that Tana Mongoose planned in rebelling from VidCon because she didn't get featured as a featured creator? Yeah, so apparently that's still being talked about thanks to the courtesy of Micheal Weist, or Weist. If you guys don't remember or don't even know who Micheal Weist is, he was basically the guy who gained the reputation of being the Segway dude from TanaCon. He was actually the event planner. Obviously, since I'm discussing it, you know the event turned out to be a total disaster. Now, if you don't know anything about what happened at TanaCon, look it up because it is now a historical piece in internet history. Now, after the nuclear fallout that was TanaCon, Tana would appear on Shane Dawson's channel a week later addressing the situation, where she would cry, piss her pants, and maybe even shit and cum a little bit about the event. Now, while Tana would continue her career on the internet and try and put the events of TanaCon in her past, Micheal would continue to try to milk the situation to gain his own advantage and paint himself as the victim. His first strategic move was to make a documentary trying to document his side of the story in order to clear his name, although that didn't really work out considering on IMDb.com it only accumulated 9 reviews, and on Amazon.com accumulated a star rating of 1.6 out of 5. Now, following that train wreck, Micheal would eventually move on to do other producer and actor type content. However, the internet would forget about him. Fast forward to 3 years, and Micheal decided it would be the wonderful idea to hop on the Dr. Phil show and essentially, quote, clear his name of all the hate that he had been getting. Now, instead of getting kisses on his boo-boos and pats on his back like he was expecting, Micheal got kind of a rude awakening on his behavior, and a lot of his narcissistic personality traits started showing throughout the episode. Now, despite all the controversy that Dr. Phil has been going through recently with the Turnabout Ranch and everything, I do have to give him credit because a lot of the points he brought up in his episode with Micheal made a lot of sense, and compared to some of the other disasters that have happened in the past on his show, this episode went pretty smoothly. The episode mainly comprised of Micheal being faced with a bunch of people he had wronged in his past, including a panel of attendees at TanaCon. One of those people on the panel was Swell Entertainment, who is also a YouTuber. I highly recommend you go check out her videos. She actually does have a video documenting her experience at TanaCon. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below, and she really kind of went in on Micheal as much as she could. Like, she grilled him basically on everything that was wrong with the safety and security of the event, because one thing that Micheal wanted everybody to think was that he had approached Tana Mongoose with the idea of doing TanaCon, when actually it was the other way around. This has been confirmed multiple times that Tana was the one who had the idea, and she was the one that approached Micheal and his business to basically plan for the event. And instead of gathering things together and making sure all precautions were made before the event, Micheal waited until a month before it happened for everything to get set up. So it was very, very underplanned, and if you know the whole story of TanaCon, you pretty much know the whole outcome of the whole situation. This resulted in severe sunburns, severe dehydration, and a lot of angry fans who wanted their money back. The part of the episode with Swell Entertainment was probably my favorite part of the entire episode, just because it was so much fun seeing her go in on Micheal and basically prove him wrong. It was a little frustrating though, just considering the fact that it was just a back and forth where Micheal kept on deflecting constantly, and it just kind of got a little repetitive, and I could tell that Swell was getting a little frustrated as well, but she did a really good job. There was one part in particular that I think definitely was a highlight of how narcissistic Micheal is as a person, and how he essentially tried to use his heightened emotions to manipulate the situation. And that is this particular clip right here.
I'm here to heal and help some little 13-year-old girl who's being cyberbullied, who's contemplating suicide, something I've dealt with for 3 years, every waking moment, told that I'm a worthless human being over a mistake and that I should kill myself? Are you kidding me?
You shouldn't kill yourself.
What'd you say? I should?
You shouldn't. Don't even try and put that in my mouth.
I'm not.
So he basically tries to use the situation to not only pull the whole, like, I was suicidal thing, which I honestly, this might come off as insensitive, but I feel like he was kind of doing that as a way to make him more of a victim. And then he knowingly, I really don't think he misheard Swell when she said you shouldn't kill yourself. I think he really tried to twist the words to try and help his case on being a victim on the show. And there's a whole nother situation where he goes on a rant about how he lost his house and his family and his business and stuff like that. But he also says that he, like, lost his friends, which eventually, his friends do come onto the show and they talk about how he would mistreat them, and basically it was like a love-hate relationship. Like, they said he would, there were days where he was nice, and then there were days where he was mean, and a lot of the times he would use his wealth and his influence essentially to just kind of, like, give them things that they wanted. It wasn't a power dynamic or anything like some people might think. It was more just he was giving them things that they wanted, and they were reciprocating back, and I guess not really making the best judgment of his character. What also was kind of annoying, and definitely I think a manipulative tactic that Michael also used, is he would constantly flip and flop on the reason why he was there. Like, he said that he wasn't there to relive the past or recount the past with, like, TanaCon and stuff like that. Yet, you know, obviously he was there for that specific reason, but he says he's also there to heal. So it doesn't really make sense. Like, he's there to heal from all the hate comments that he's getting, but he's also there to bitch and moan about the fact that he's the victim in the whole TanaCon situation, even though a lot of the reason it was unplanned was due to him. Like, it was just really confusing, and Swell definitely called that shit out as well. Jackson Kriosh, or at least that's how I think his last name is pronounced, who's also an influencer and content creator, made a surprise appearance on the show because he, a few years back, apparently had paired with Michael to have a clothes giveaway to some of his fans. And instead of the fans receiving the clothes, they never got them, and it turned out that they were just sitting in a storage warehouse somewhere. Instead of getting the clothes to the fans or getting any of his money back, Michael decided to ghost Jackson, leaving a frustrated Jackson wondering when Michael was going to return the $35,000. That was until Jackson finally heard from Michael's lawyer that Michael had filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and that the $35K that was given to Michael to distribute the clothes was money that Michael had pocketed for his own personal use. So, yeah, this dude clearly is a scammer, and there is a segment towards the end where Dr. Phil brings up a statement from Michael's mother saying everything that a loving mother would, where he's gone through a lot, he's changed, he was in a dark place after TanaCon and all that stuff, and he does have an emotional reaction to that, which makes me want to feel bad for him, but in all honesty, he really still, at the end of the day, was very deflective and defensive when people were calling him out on his shit. I really don't think he's sorry. I think he just has a situation where he doesn't want to accept his wrongdoing and his responsibility, and he's using things that have happened to him in the past and trying to bring it up and make himself out to be a victim and essentially clear his name, as he said to Dr. Phil. Now, that being said, I don't think the dude is like a full-blown sociopath or business psychopath or whatever. I just think he's an extremely flawed individual, and I really do think that there would be room for change as long as he takes accountability and recognizes that he has problems with his behavior and stuff. I also do think it is extremely deplorable that there were people online sending him death threats. In all honesty, though, a lot of those people don't actually mean it and don't ever follow through with that shit. So it's just easily to be ignored. Regardless, though, sending hate to somebody to that extent is inappropriate, and I don't condone it. And with that being said, I don't think he's going to change just by the body language and what my takeaway was from that episode. I do encourage you guys to go check out the video for yourself. I'll leave a link to it in the description below just so you guys can form your own opinions on it. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm very curious on what you have to say. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.